The following demonstration has been brought to you by GoBallistic.us, the North American distributor of fine international shooting products. This video will demonstrate the basic setup procedure for your new SuperChrono. After opening your SuperChrono kit, you should find a frequently asked question guide as well as the instruction manual which this video demonstration is based on. Next, you should find the Allen key which has been included to open the battery compartment. Using the Allen key will remove the 3 screws securing the battery compartment cover. Once you've gained access to the battery compartment, install 4 AA or 1.5 volt batteries. Replace the cover and reinstall the attaching hardware. Allen keys are capable of producing high levels of torque, so be careful as you tighten down the cover so that you don't over-torque the screws and crack the lid. It's a good idea to power up your SuperChrono before you head to the range to ensure it's working. The SuperChrono is an acoustic shooting chronograph, which means it's listening for the shock wave of your bullet as it passes over top. Angular errors in our setup process will translate into velocity errors that the SuperChrono reads out. Gathering good data at the range requires attention to detail during our setup process. Thus, we must take special care in making sure our alignment is parallel to the flight path of the bullet. When you've arrived at your shooting location, set up a shooting bench or equivalent apparatus in the direction of your target. Now set up your rifle so that it's looking at your intended target. Ensure the bore is clear and confirm that the rifle is safe to work in front of. Next, aim the rifle at the intended target. This will help with alignment later in the process. Your SuperChrono is equipped with a standard tripod screw mount. Using this, we will attach the SuperChrono to a sturdy tripod. Next, place the SuperChrono and tripod out in front of your rifle. 10 feet or 3 meters is usually enough space to keep you out of the muzzle blast range. Turn around and face your rifle, as a course adjustment will now place the tripod on the ground in the approximate location we intend to use. Adjust the SuperChrono to be level in the lateral direction. Using small adjustments, move the entire tripod to the left or right until you have good alignment with the center line of your rifle. Because our rifle is already aiming at the target, we can use it as a tool to help align the SuperChrono with the flight path of the bullet. One technique, which works well with bolt-action rifles, is to remove the bolt so that you can see straight down the bore. If your eyesight isn't that good, or if you have a different style of firearm, another technique is to look through the optic. Now that we have leveled the SuperChrono and aligned it with the flight path of the bullet, we can use the included open sights to aim the SuperChrono at our intended target. Remember, we want the SuperChrono to be parallel to the flight path of the bullet as it passes over top. For this reason, we do not necessarily want the SuperChrono to be level with the ground. A simple way to make sure you're parallel is to download an app for your smartphone. Take an incline reading off the stock of your rifle while it's aimed at the target, and apply that same angle to the SuperChrono. This technique works best when you're trying to gather muzzle velocity data near the rifle. But remember, the large window of opportunity allows us to gather data virtually anywhere along the flight path of the bullet as long as the bullet is still supersonic. If you plan to gather data from further down range, then you need to remember to keep the SuperChrono parallel to the trajectory of the bullet. For example, if we plan to set up right in front of the target, and place the SuperChrono on its tripod approximately 20 inches below the target so that it won't get hit by the bullet, then we need to aim the SuperChrono at a point that is 20 inches below the bullseye so that it remains parallel to the trajectory. If we forget this point and accidentally aim the SuperChrono at the center of the target, we will end up creating an angular error that will result in velocity readings that are higher than actual. At this point, the basic alignment procedure is complete. Do a quick double check to make sure your rifle is still aimed at the target and that the SuperChrono is aligned with the rifle. This is also a good time to make sure that your SuperChrono is below the flight path of the bullet so that it won't get hit. Depending on the magnification of your optic, it may be possible to use your crosshairs to double check alignment by creating a vertical line through the SuperChrono and your target. We're almost ready to send bullets down range, so let's turn on the SuperChrono. Check to make sure you're in meters per second or feet per second as desired, and reset the memory for the next string. With everything set up, we're ready to take some shots and gather some data. If we've done our due diligence on aligning the SuperChrono, then we should get good solid velocity readings on every shot fired. Remember, your SuperChrono will only record accurate bullet velocities if you're meticulous in your setup and alignment procedure. This concludes our demonstration of the SuperChrono ballistic chronograph. For more information, please visit one of the following websites.